Life is Strange, a very popular and well-known game, but interestingly not a game that loads of people have played. Of course it is massively popular and did sell really well, but interestingly there's loads and loads of people that have heard of Life is Strange, but not as many that have actually gone ahead and played the game. And in this video we'll be talking about Life is Strange in 2023 and how it holds up within 2023. So let's get into it. Now Life is Strange was originally released on the 30th of January 2015, being developed by Don Knot Entertainment and published by Square Enix. It was a single-player story game that is heavily influenced by your choices and can have some pretty major differences depending on what you choose to do. It received worldwide praise for its deep and moving story, where you obtain a strong connection to your protagonist, Max Caulfield, and her child best friend, Cole Price, as they discover that there is something strange going on in Arcadia Bay, hence the name, Life is Strange. The first episode for the game on Steam even has overwhelmingly positive reviews, which we all know is the best you can get on Steam, and it's safe to say that it definitely deserved that tag, and this really shows how successful the game was for Square Enix. So since the release of the original Life is Strange, there has been the releases of Before the Storm, which acts as a prequel / prologue to the original Life is Strange. They've also released Life is Strange 2 and Life is Strange True Colors, and of course the remastered collection of Life is Strange. But in this video we decided to go back to the roots of the series and talk about whether or not Life is Strange still holds up well in 2023. 8 years after its original release. I also do want to mention that all the gameplay in this video is taken from the remastered version of the game, so you get to enjoy some updated graphics for this classic game, which is always nice. So before we do actually get into the proper details, I do just want to mention that this video will be spoiler free as well, so if you haven't experienced the game already and are using this sort of as a modern review of the game, then this is definitely the right place to be. At most we will be talking about some things that happen in an episode, which is the first episode, very early on within that episode, so you really don't have to worry about having the game spoiled in any way if you want to be able to experience it yourself. The only minor spoiler is literally stuff right at the beginning of the game when you hit play, so you really don't need to worry too much. But anyways, yeah, let's get into the main bulk of the video. So to start with, I want to mention the visuals of the game. It doesn't look hyper-realistic or lifelike like we get with some games, but that's not what they were going for in terms of the art style. They wanted it to look more artsy, almost as if the characters were drawn rather than modelled together to put in the game. I think that this works really well for Life is Strange because your protagonist Max is actually a photography student at Blackwell Academy, which makes the art style make more sense in my opinion. But along with that, it also helps the game to be more unique and stand out more from other choice-based games. Although some may prefer a more hyper-realistic look, of course, over this, I honestly am more than happy with this style and find it is just as immersive. We've seen this in games like the Walking Dead series, where it's not going for a realistic look, but instead going for a different style, a unique style. Games like Borderlands as well sort of have a style like that, where, it's a unique style, and a more artsy style, and I really like it. I think it adds a really nice vibe to the game. You get games, that go for an ultra-realistic style, but that wasn't the idea and aim behind Life is Strange, and I really like that. Even with the newer ones, such as Life is Strange True Colors, it persists with the classic art style that the game has always used, and is loved by many people. Of course, not for absolutely everyone, but I'd say the majority of people seem to really get along well with this art style for the game. So speaking of being immersed, the story for Life is Strange is something that I personally really enjoyed and actually got really involved with. So to give a brief bit of backstory, you play as Max Caulfield, who has recently moved back to her childhood town of Arcadia Bay to study photography at Blackwell Academy. Her teacher, Mark Jefferson, is a widely famous photographer who Blackwell pride themselves in having as a teacher at their school, and one of the reasons Max decided to return to Arcadia Bay in the first place. You start the game in a raging storm and find an enormous tornado heading towards Arcadia before waking up in class and finding out it was actually just an entire dream. After this, things start to go very strange, and you discover that you have the ability to rewind time. You want to get to the bottom of whatever strange things are going on at Blackwell and find out what happened to student Rachel Amber, who one day mysteriously went missing. There are loads of choices that you do have to make in this game, and you need to make sure that the ones you make are the right ones, or not, of course, depending on how you want to, play the game. Something I really quite like about Life is Strange is the rewind mechanic, as this allows you to see the short-term effects of both choices when encountering a big choice within the game. I really like this because you get to see both if you really want to, and then decide which one you think would be best for your playthrough. But obviously you still have no idea what these choices will affect in the long term, meaning you will have to really think about the choices that you make and not just go for it based on these short-term outcomes. Of course, they may have a really long-term effects, and yeah, I do think the choices do play a massive part in this game, which is really nice to see, and I like that. I don't like it in games where you're given a choice of dialogue, but it doesn't really matter which one you select, since it makes absolutely no difference in the long term. Of course, it might make a difference in the short term, which it will in Life is Strange, but it also makes a difference in the long term, making them way more impactful, which I really like, and that's a way that the game definitely holds up well within 2023. Something that I would like to see in more games and done well in more games. It's sort of seen in a lot of games where you get choices in dialogue, but it's never perfected that well. But Life is Strange certainly perfects it well. I do just think it's cool how you can do something like this, but still not have it spoilt in any way in terms of what will come next when it does come to, of course, that rewind mechanic. Something really cool, and definitely something pretty unique, a pretty cool mechanic that we don't really see in other games. I really like that. So, there are plenty of characters you will start to obtain a connection with when playing through the story, and you really will want to try and make sure your choices don't affect them in any negative way or cause them any harm. I won't say specifics, but there is one part in the game where the rewind mechanic is taken away completely, and it is a life or death situation for someone, and it really does make you hope that everything you chose to say is right, because otherwise their death would be entirely on you, completely your fault. It is done so well. For those who have played the game, I'm sure you are aware of the section that I am talking about. For those of you that don't know, I really do encourage you to go and play it to be able to find out what it is I'm talking about, since you're really going to understand what I'm saying and, you know, probably agree with me on this. And that's where we do come back to the beginning topic of this video, really, which is Life is Strange still impactful within 2023? Is it worth purchasing and experiencing in 2023? Is it even worth actually batting an eyelid at? Should you even consider playing the game in 2023? And I have to say, a massive yes to all of those questions. The story is so impactful and honestly so immersive in 2023. It's truly a game you need to experience, a must play in my opinion. Along with that, it is also relatively cheap on Steam these days, and also on consoles. If you get it maybe physically, you can get the disc versions of it for a pretty cheap price. And of course, this is available on loads of different platforms. It's available on, you know, low-end PCs. It's available on some of the older consoles, and of course the next generation consoles as well. And I believe some of it is available on Nintendo Switch as well. It's literally available absolutely everywhere these days. So if you are planning on playing this game in 2023 but aren't too sure, this is a confirmation that you should 100% go and play it, and I'm certain you will have a great experience uncovering the mysteries of Arcadia Bay. This game is great, and if you haven't played it, I would say that, to put it simply, you are missing out. Go ahead, play Life is Strange, pick up the game, pick up all the games, play them all. They're all great, and I'm sure you will have a great time, and you'll be thanking me that I did, you know, recommend that you play Life is Strange in 2023. It really is worth it, and I am confident it'll be worth it for many years to come. But there we go, that does just about wrap up things here. That is if Life is Strange is worth playing in 2023, and yeah, you know the answer to that by now. It certainly is. It does remain so impactful in 2023. But yeah, that does just about wrap up things here. Now, on screen now, you are seeing a link to a video where I go over FNAF Plus and absolutely everything we know about that game so far. So hit the link on the screen if you are interested in watching that.